everybody. I always love to know who's new on the call. Anybody?
I am new.
Hi,
Good morning.
how are
I'm
you? Who is this, Jason?
it is Jason. Yeah, Jason Walter. Nice to see you. I don't
Nice
know
to
if you can
see
see
you.
me. Yeah.
Where are
Good
you
morning.
from?
I'm in Sacramento, California. So
Oh, great.
I'm woke up
Oh,
early.
6 a.m. I'm down in Laguna Beach. So
Okay, nice.
yeah, we're the 6 a.m. club. I love it.
There
So
you go.
how'd you hear
You
about
did
it?
your hair already though. I did not.
Yeah, I did. I do. It is come as you are. I almost was going to come in my pajamas today, and I went, "Oh no, it's Susan. This will be a watched recording here." So, how did you hear about us?
I heard about you through my buddy Jim Black, who knows Gene.
Oh, wonderful. Okay,
Yeah,
great, 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 great. So, thank you.
thank
Who
you.
else wants to jump in and say hi?
I'm new as well.
Hi, James. Oh, Jake, I know who you are.
Yes, you know who I am.
Yeah, wonderful. I get to meet you. So you go by
Yes.
JD.
JD, yep.
And you, Pam, JD is coming to our retreat at Jean and Susan's house. Annie, yes, so excited. So I
Yep.
was with his, well, there were a lot of us with his parents in Cabo, and his mom and dad heard about the retreat that we're hosting. And they said, we think our son should go to this. So I think they just called you up and said, we're buying you a plane ticket, pack your bags, you're going to Texas. And you're like,
That's pretty much it.
okay, you've got to trust here. So excellent. Well, Ashley's on the call and you will meet
Hey,
Ashley there.
I have a surprise.
You
What's that?
What's a surprise?
An invoice?
What's wrong with?
You're with Kevin and Stacy. How cool.
And look who's here.
And the baby's there.
Baby girl. Aw.
Oh, you guys are up early.
Yeah.
Oh, and I mean, you're always up, but you're out of the house. When you
Yeah.
when you were there, I'm just like, that's not her background. Where is she? But okay,
We're hanging out in a booth together.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So Ashley James is up there. He goes by JD. He's coming to the retreat.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it's going to be really cool. So while we're just quickly talking about the retreat, let me tell you, it is our yearly event. It is held at Jean and Susan's Lake House. Next door to that is Trey.
Muted. Bye.
What?
No, just kidding.
Oh, and right next door is Trey and Lisa Williams' beautiful home that we rent from them. And we all come together. It's amazing what happens. You're going to be surprised. We're not going to talk about how many calls you're doing and things like that. We're going to talk about limiting beliefs, self-sabotage, your relationship with money. It's leveling up this year to become your best self. Our coaches, they coach people who, Olympic athletes, political people preparing for debates. They coach world leaders, actors, actresses, and they coach people just like you and I. So we have a couple, and I mean limited bedding, sleeping arrangements left. If you are interested and you feel a need to find out about it, my number is 860-638-7944. We would love to have you come. There's some
I'll sleep on the porch next to the hot tub. I'm good.
Annie's fine. She'll give up one of her bunks.
Yeah, I'll just sleep on the porch. No
I mean,
problem.
I've had other people say, let's get as many people as we can there. I don't care where we sleep. Let's just do it.
Oh, maybe on the boat. I'll just sleep on the boat. How about
When and
that?
where is this event?
Who is
Robin Man.
Hi, Robin. It is May 5th through the 9th. It is in Star Harbor, Texas, which is Cedar Creek. Actually, Kevin, it's like an hour and a half southeast of Texas. Have I got the right location? I think so. Okay. And it's a game changer.
I would love to go, but I can't. That's rally. That's rally week, and I'm speaking at rallies.
You're speaking at rallies. How exciting is that? So, Robin, where are you from?
I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. Sorry, I'm not on camera. I'm getting dressed.
That's okay. Have you been on Wake Up Wednesday before?
No.
Oh, welcome. How'd you hear about it?
I don't know. Y'all sent me something. I mean, I'm EXP, but I don't know.
Beautiful.
Somebody sent me something. I was like, let's go in there. So yeah, I don't know.
Oh, great. Well, we've got an amazing guest today, Susan McLean. I see a lot of people there already. We're going to have time to jump in, ask questions. Trish, is that you? Let's see who's there this morning. Oh, Megan. Hey, how are you? Stacy Bray. Stacy, can you jump on for 30 seconds? Right before I introduce Susan and give her the floor.
Yes,
You went to one of the first retreats in 30 seconds. Game changer?
it was a game changer. It's amazing. You know, being able to get out of your head of all the noise and just take a break away from that was amazing.
Good. And her
And hello, Robin.
who are you saying hi to?
Robin.
Robin.
Hey, girl.
Um,
Hey.
I love the camaraderie that we have here, the community, the referrals, the friendships. So speaking of camaraderie and growth, Susan, your bio is unbelievable. And I know people don't like to brag about themselves. However, I always feel that this is a great platform. Tell us what you're most proud of, what your role is, and how you're here to support us.
Oh, that's a good question. I hate talking about myself.
I know.
So I'm glad you prefaced that. So what am I most proud of? I'm probably most proud of just working with and helping the agents that I help every single day. So what I do now, I'm a vice president of agent success. So think about any problems, any issues, we're struggling here. We don't know how to plug in there. All of that kind of comes to me and my team. And so I think I'm most proud of just being able to solve problems and help people every day to be the best version of themselves at EXP. So I absolutely love what I do every day.
That's great. Your background?
My background, yes, I'm 21, I think, years now in real estate. So I've been everything: agent, team leader, managing broker, trainer, coach. I was not the best coach. I'm a better trainer. So y'all know the difference between training and coaching, right? So training is telling, coaching is asking great questions. I was always better at telling. So over the years, I've progressed into a better coach than I used to be, but trainer, coach, and then, stumbled my way into EXP, had several different corporate positions. I was vice president of sales at, was the #6 global Century 21 franchise. I was there for 12 years, worked at Remax Corporate, mergers and acquisitions, franchise sales, and then, came to EXP and I haven't looked back. It's amazing.
That's great. So when you and I were talking, and I have to tell you, she really is someone that you need to get to know, guys. Just because of your giving, from the moment I met you, Jean introduced us. You were just, how can I help? What can I do? What can I do to jump in? It might have even been on a weekend. But when we hear about corporate, and I know a lot of people have experiences of other companies, there's a lot of talk, but there's really no action. And so I want you to think about, if you've been in another company before, did you have access just like this? I mean, Susan is genuine. Her team is genuine. They're there to help you. So help us. What would you like us to know today? And what would you like to share with us? What do you see people struggling with?
So actually I'm going to tell a really quick story. So I'm glad you brought that up, right? Corporate, right? And it's a good and it's a bad word. So it depends on how you use it, right? But I'm actually going to tell you a story, and it's one of it was my big aha when I came to EXP. So again, I've been corporate since 2009 at a couple different, brokerages, right? But my very first meeting that I did at EXP, and I sat in a room with Glenn Sanford. And I don't remember who it was that was talking, but someone had an idea. Someone wanted to launch something or do something, and they presented it to the group. And what Glenn said, he said, but how does that benefit the agents? And they stumbled around their answer, right? Whatever it was. And he said, but how does that benefit the agents, right? This is agent centric, right? That's who we are as a company. And for me, that was a defining moment in my career. And I immediately said, I'm at the right place and I'm in the right room with the right people, because I haven't always had that experience on the corporate side that we're going to make decisions that's best for the agents. So that was my big aha. And that at that point I said, this is where I am. So that's one of my favorite stories. I don't know if that helps you or not to say, okay, this is the right company for me. But it certainly did for me on the corporate side. So
I think that's a great story to share because a lot of us come from companies that had agent advisory boards or management teams. And, the funny thing is, whether you realize it or not, there usually is a meeting before the meeting because there are rumors that are going to come up during that. And as a team leader, I was coached if there was something big coming up by the agents, I was coached on what to say, how to look like I'm listening, but there really wasn't a true, authentic way. And so much got pushed under the table. And when you look at the people that are here, Susan, and I know that you and I talked about this, the years of experience, the knowledge, who better than to have one, Glenn Sanford, who was an agent, who actually went to Gary Keller with a phenomenal idea to do a company like this within Keller Williams, who was turned down. We can honestly say that our voices are heard. So thank you for bringing that up.
You're welcome. Well, today, I'd love to talk about, and actually let me pull my slides up here really quickly, but I'd really like to talk about running an effective organization within EXP. I'm actually going to go back to my roots with this, and I'm using Gamma. I use Gamma for my slides, and I haven't done that in a while. I know it was a little glitchy, but I think it's better now. So if my slides glitch, that's why. It's not me. It's never my fault. No.
Love it.
But I want to kind of go back to my roots and talk about running an effective organization within EXP. When I started at EXP 3 years ago, actually someone the other day said, happy work anniversary. I was like, oh, I had no idea. So apparently it was 3 years ago that I came to EXP. And I actually started at EXP by helping the larger organizations with attraction, increasing productivity, increasing retention in their organizations. So I really want to go back to revisit those 3 pillars, because when you have attraction, productivity, and retention, and they're all refined, right? You have those 3 pillars running, you can run a very effective organization. So our agenda today, we're going to talk about those 3 pillars, right? We're going to talk about attraction. So what is the path? What's the strategy? We're going to talk about how do you increase productivity in your organization. Let me get rid of my little thing here. Okay. So how do you increase productivity in your organization? Because you can bring agents in all day long, but if they're not selling, they're not productive, right? It doesn't do them any good. It doesn't do you any good. And then retention, right? How do we know the red flags of someone who might be thinking of leaving? Maybe they're upset about something. But again, who cares if they're selling if they leave, right? So we have to have all 3 of these pillars in place in our organization. So we're going to talk about all 3 of these today. And truthfully, you guys, like, we could spend hours on every single pillar, right? Like hours. So I'm actually going to kind of cram a few things. I don't like that word, but I'm going to use it into today's meeting. But what I want you guys to do is promise me that you're just going to choose one thing. The stuff that we go over today, your job is not to do all of it. Your job is to choose one thing, right? One thing that you can start doing, or one thing that you can do better. So promise me, pinky promise, that you're going to choose one thing. And remember, we were like in college, high school, and the professor would say, you're going to be tested over this, right? And you were always like, oh, thank goodness. They said this is going to be on the test. I'm going to tell you at the end of this today, I'm going to ask you, what's your one thing? So it's going to be on the test, right? So write down the one thing that you can do better or you can start doing today. So I'm going to start with a question. If you stopped recruiting today, would your business still grow? And that's a hard one, right? That can be a hard question for us, because I would say a lot of us, if we stopped adding agents to that top of the funnel, our business wouldn't grow, right? And a lot of the agents that I talk to, they're focused on that top of the funnel, just bringing them in, and the next one, and the next one. But to have this holistic business, we have to again, focus on all 3 of those pillars, right? The attraction, getting our agents productive. And that doesn't mean training and coaching, right? It just means pointing them in the right direction, making sure that they understand the resources at their fingertips. And then it's retaining them, right? So what are those when our spidey senses go off, right? That this agent might be looking to leave or they might be struggling with something. How do we retain them? So we're going to talk about all three of those today. Now we're going to start with the attraction pillar. And so on the attraction pillar, one of the best talks, I guess, I've ever heard was Curtis Johnson. And it was probably right after I started. So it's probably about 3 years ago. And I heard him talk about how do you grow an organization? And for me, the point of his talk was don't try to grow an organization, just get to the next step, right? Figure out where you are in growing an organization and then just get to the next step. So just set small goals, right? So what's the next goal? And then what's the next goal? And if you know anything about how the brain works, right, we know that when we achieve small goals, it gives us this rush of dopamine, right? And our brain wants us to achieve the next goal and then the next goal and the next goal. So I want you to think about where you are on the attraction path, but not only you, I want you to think about the agents in your organization. Who are those agents in your organization that are also growing their own organization, right? So think about where you are, but also think about where they are, the ones, those leaders, right? The ones that are every day showing up to the things that you're doing and they want to grow their own organization. So if you or if they are in this kind of step one of 1 to 5 frontline agents, the job at this point is to define the who, the what, and the how. So at this point, when we talk about defining the who, I want you to really think about who's your ideal agent avatar. Excuse me, where do they work? What do they do in their business, right? What are they doing every day? Excuse me, one second. Okay, I got the mute before I coughed in your ear, okay? So what are they doing every day, right? And then how are they spending their time? And I really learned the hard way, actually, growing a brokerage, that you don't want bodies. When you're focused on bringing bodies into an organization, and in my experience, into that brokerage that I was growing, I was focused on bodies. And when I was focused on bodies, I got bodies. I got unproductive agents. I got agents who are always upset over something. So think about that ideal agent avatar and who they are. Take a really deep look. And this one, I'm going to say it a couple times because it's so important. Who's the ideal agent avatar that you want to work with? And really dig deep on that, because when you understand who they are, where they're at in their business, what their next step is, you can design programs to help them. So that's the who. The what is what sets you apart. And this one, again, it's super important. So is it your core values, right? Do you have core values in your organization? Some do, some don't. But what sets you apart? Is it core values? Is it the support that you offer? Is it your resources? Is it your training, right? Is it your checklists or your business plans? Maybe it's proximity. Look at the agents on this call today, right? If you can bring someone into your organization and you can plug them in to these calls, and they can connect with agents, like I'm looking and I know a lot of these names and I know a lot of you on this call, and you're doing amazing things. So maybe it's proximity, but what sets you apart? Now, when I define what sets me apart, I like to put it into a one-pager. And my one-pager, I'll tell you what, it's actually literally changed my life, and I'll tell you the story of how. So in 2009, I took over a very small brokerage. It literally had 12 agents. Actually, I had 14, then I fired 2 of them. So I had 12, right, when I started. It was losing money. It was just, it was a project, right? And I took over this office, and obviously my job was to grow it, right? We were losing money. We had no market share, like literally none. And my job was to grow it. And I found myself constantly putting off making my recruiting calls. Constantly putting it off until one day I'm like, oh, all right, like I really need to get past this, right? I really have to figure out how I'm going to grow this office, and I have to get past my fear of making these recruiting calls. So I did an exercise called the 5 levels deep exercise. And so I took out a piece of paper and I said, all right, what do I hate about recruiting? And I wrote the answer, picking up the phone. And I'm like, all right, why, what scares me about picking up the phone? And I wrote the answer. Well, they might answer the phone when I call them. Okay, what scares me about that? They might want to meet me. Okay, what scares me about that? they might want to come to work for me. And for me, that was this aha moment. That was like, whoa, I didn't expect that. If you had asked me before I did that exercise what my biggest fear was, I would have said rejection, because that's what I thought it was, right? I thought I was scared of the no. I wasn't. I was actually scared of the yes. I was afraid they would say, you know what, Susan, I think you're right. I think you can help me grow my business. So I'm going to come to work for you. And what if I couldn't? What if I wasn't good enough, right? What if I failed them? That was my fear, right? And so when I did this exercise, this 5 levels deep exercise, and I realized what my fear was, I did a 1-pager, right? Power of the 1-pager, what sets me apart. And I listed all of the things on it that I did, my staff did, the company did, like everyone did for the agents that came to work for me that I knew no one else did, right? And so I put this on a 1-pager, and that little 1-pager gave me the confidence to start recruiting. And I grew that little 12-person office into the number 20 office in the country, literally because of my 1-pager, right? Understanding what my fear was, and then defining my what sets me apart. Okay, now the how, right? So we have the who, we have the what, and now the how. How are you going to get there? Is it 5 calls a day? Is it 1 lunch a week? Is it 10 follow-ups a week, right? Is it social media posts? Is it YouTube videos? What does it look like? What does your business plan to grow your organization look like? And I talk to a lot of agents, and they're selling real estate and they're trying to attract, and they don't have a business plan for either one of them. And if that works for you, that's fantastic. It doesn't work for me, right? So do you have a plan to get there? So that's the how. All right, now next step, if my slides will work, hold on. Okay, there we go. Oh, too far. See, I told you I'm blaming Gamma. Okay, so that was step 1, right? 1 to 5 FLAs. And now the other steps, we're going to hit these next steps a little bit faster. So the next step is to find or to get 3 or more agents in your organization with 1 or more FLA each, right? So now we're growing depth. So 1 to 5 FLAs is growing width. Now we're starting to grow organizational depth. So identify who those agents are, or who you think they are, who you think they will be, and put your time and energy into them and help them. And the big thing with this is to communicate differently with them than everyone else in your organization. Because if you talk to everyone in your organization the same way, you have the same message, you're talking to no one, right? So you're going to talk to these leaders, these growers, differently than you would someone that has no desire to grow an organization. You're going to talk to your team leaders different than your individual agents. Your new agents, you're going to talk to them differently than your icon agents. And we'll go into this a little bit in more detail in a minute. But talk to those growers differently than you do the ones who aren't trying to grow. Send them things, right? Like, best practices, maybe some podcasts, maybe a book recommendation. They're growing a business, so give them that advice to help them. And then step 3 would be 5 to 10 frontline agents. And what we're going to do here is we're going to redefine our who, what, and how. Because if you think about who you are at 1 frontline agent versus who you are at 9 frontline agents, they're different, right? Your ideal agent avatar is likely different. The what sets you apart is probably different. How you're going to get there is probably going to be different. So we're going to redefine that. And then 100 in your organization. So again, it's width, depth, width, depth, width, depth. So who are your builders? And again, they likely will have changed, right? So identify who those builders are, talk to them differently, give them your time and attention. And then the width again, so 10 to 20 FLAs, redefining who, what, how. And then 200 in your organization, identify those up and coming builders. So width, depth, and then revisit on the width, the who, what, and the how. And on the depth, revisit who your builders are. So take a minute to look at this and think about something that you can start doing, or maybe you can revisit, or maybe you can do it a little bit better than you had in the past. And maybe this is your one thing, maybe not, because we have 2 more pillars to get through, but think about that, right? Now, revenue strategy too. So I want you to take a look at your revenue strategy. And actually the first thing to ask yourself is, do I have a revenue strategy, right? When we talk about revenue, it's rev share for the purpose of your organization, right? So are you tracking your revenue or your rev share per agent and per level, right? This is the business we're running. So we need to know where we can move the needle. By the way, are any of you in your organization, do you have a lot of teams in your organization? Any of you? No. Okay. I see some no's, some shaking the head. So, and that's okay. If you are, or if you have an attraction strategy of teams, which by the way is a fantastic strategy. If I'm going to grow an organization, I'm going to grow it by attracting teams right now. But if you are heavy on teams, that's actually a really good thing. EXP, we are very, very, very sticky with our teams. We rarely lose teams, right? So if you have a lot of teams, I've heard agents say, "Oh, I have a lot of teams, so my revenue share isn't as good," right? Because a lot of those team members are on a reduced cap. And like, actually, no, it's actually better, right? Because they stay around longer, they're more productive. So anyway, just a side note. So teams is a fantastic way to grow your organization. So track your revenue per agent per level, track your production per level. And by the way, do you know where to pull this information? Do all of you know where to pull all of your organization information? Okay, I see some yeses and I see some like, so I'm actually going to show you. So if you go into My EXP, go into your My EXP account, do this on your laptop or your computer, don't do it on your phone. Click on organization. You're going to click on detail report. Oh, and by the way, Peggy, you have these slides. I sent them to you by to your Gmail this morning. So you have these
Thank
slides.
you.
You're
I'll
welcome.
post them. Okay.
So click on detail report and then you're going to download it. And this is the key. Yeah, if you scroll over, you can see some information, but I need you to download it. And when you download it, I'm going to show you a sample that I downloaded in a couple minutes. And it's super easy to go through and sort your agents. So I'll show you how to do that in a minute. But number one, I just wanted you to know where to find it, right? So track your production by level. And then I want you to define your proven process. So your proven process, and this is something we actually teach this in Team Leader Academy. And if you're attracting and you don't know what Team Leader Academy is, you need to, right? Especially if you're attracting teams, you need to know what Team Leader Academy is because we have a lot of people who are attracting to our Team Leader Academy. And I'll go through high level what it is in a second. But define your proven process. We talk about this in Team Leader Academy. Whatever your proven process is, I want you to map it out, like graph it out, right? Make it a graphic. That proven process, it could be getting an agent from A to B in their production. It could be your onboarding process. It could be your, your attraction process. Whatever it is in your organization that you're like, I got this. I got this. And anyone can follow it because I've mapped it out. Map out your proven process and create a visual for it. And then as you're adding agents to your organization, hand that to them, right? If you're trying to get from A to B, here's the process to do it. If you're trying to, learn attraction or grow an organization, here's the process to do it. Whatever it might be, map that out. And one of the best examples I've seen of that is this. So it's Jay Kinder and Mike Reese, and they actually created it like a company as a certification. It was National Association of Expert Advisors, I think. But ultimately, they mapped it out. They created a proven process and they made it a visual. And this visual says, no matter where you are and no matter where you want to go, we've mapped it out, how you're going to get there, right? What it feels like, what are the skills you need? What's the support? What's the goal, right? So they mapped out, we're going to get you from A to B. And that's one of the best examples I've seen of an agent mapping out their proven process. Okay, and then the last thing, identify your 3 uniques. So what are the things that make you unique in your organization? Again, what do you do better than anyone else? What do you provide no one else does? Think about your background. Before you got into real estate, maybe you've got something there that you can help agents with. Anyone have some examples of either a proven process that you've developed in your organization or your uniques? Anyone want to share?
Quiet today.
And you might be like, no, I don't know, Susan. Then write it down, right? Okay. So I'm going to go to, oh, one last thing. We've done a really good job of promoting this, so you're probably all aware, but we do have a growth toolkit. So on this attraction pillar, that's the word, pillar, attraction pillar. We do have a growth and attraction toolkit that might help you. Again, Peggy's got the slides, and the toolkits are all behind Okta. So you have a tile that has all of our toolkits. You can also get to it through your MyEXP account. So if you click on, go to your MyEXP, you click on knowledge base, you'll see a link to all of our toolkits there, right? So the attraction toolkit's there. Okay, now let's talk about productivity. So productivity, I think to get agents productive, and remember, this isn't you training, it's not you coaching, right? It doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to be that time intensive. I think it comes down to making some easy to follow systems for agents based on that agent avatar, right? So get them plugged in. How do you get them plugged in, and how do you help them understand the resources that can take their business from A to B? And so for me, there are 4 pieces of this that I think are very important. So number 1, and this is again, just systems to plug them into. When you have a new agent that starts, new or experienced, right? But you have a new EXP agent, the first thing I'm going to do is plug them into the live startup sessions. The live startup sessions, they goes through Okta, Workplace, soon to be replaced by Slack, right? MyEXP, Enterprise, SkySlope, KV Core, EXP World. There's a quick start guide that they're going to get. So this is going to teach agents how to log into Workplace, why they care, how to log into Okta, why they care, right? So it's going to make sure that they have access to all of the tools. Now, then the next step for them is going to be the Agent Essentials training. And so Agent Essentials will be how to generate leads at EXP, CRM, SkySlope, how to get paid and how to get paid fast, right? Super important to agents. So plug them into the Agent Essentials training. And I'll show you where to find the links for all of this. If you're like, I have no idea what you're talking about, Susan, I'll show you where to find that in a second. And then FastCap. For agents looking to improve production, get them into FastCap. And then if they're team leaders or they want to start a team, Team Leader Academy. So Team Leader Academy, I've got the outline here of what this is. For our team leaders, we go deep. We have partnered with EOS, the Entrepreneur Operating System. We've partnered with EOS, and our EOS implementers are teaching our team leaders in Team Leader Academy how to run their business on EOS. So 4 of the 6 sessions of Team Leader Academy are on EOS. There's an attraction session, a retention session. After those 6 required sessions, we've got ongoing trainings that are optional for them to attend. There's benefits of being a Team Leader Academy team, growth assistance for qualifying teams, meaning we'll help our teams grow. There's a 32-week team member playbook, some other playbooks, discounts, a free concierge. And then we actually have Gino Wickman, the founder of EOS, who's doing a 3-hour session for us at EXPCon Miami. So Team Leader Academy, again, Peggy has these slides. All of this is linked in there. But if teams are someone that you're attracting to EXP, or you have teams in your organization, you need to know about TLA. Okay, so do what?
No, it's beautiful.
Okay.
It's amazing. Thank you.
Yes, good. Okay, so now remember when I said if you don't know where to find all of this, I've got a link in here. So this link, this is an EXP Value Explained slide deck. This is linked here. It's also linked in our retention toolkit, which I'll show you that in just a minute. But this is our Value Explained, and it's by avatar. So if you are attracting a team leader to EXP, right, what they're looking to plug into is different than a new agent, which is different than someone who wants to focus on attraction, right, which is different than a high producer. So if you have a new agent that's joining your organization, they don't care about Team Leader Academy. They don't even need to know that it exists, right? So they can click here and they can see what's beneficial for them as a new agent. right? So we're not going to show them Team Leader Academy and some of the other things that exist. We're going to talk to them about onboarding and FastCap and some of the other things that that can help them. So this is a slide deck, and it's the EXP Value Explained slide deck. You've got the link that I sent to Peggy, and then it's also in the retention toolkit, and I'll show you where that is in a second. Okay, agent productivity tracking. So the agent productivity tracking, what if I said if you spend 30 minutes a month, it can grow your organization. Is 30 minutes a month worth growing your organization, right? Because I'll talk to agents and they're like, oh my gosh, I've got so many things going on, but my agent count is falling, right? Well, spend 30 minutes a month and let's identify where the agents are in your organization and how we can help them. So days on board, when you look at the agents in your organization, I want you to look at the length of time they've been with EXP. And I've got a spreadsheet. I'm going to walk you through how to exactly do this in 1 second. But think about the length of time they've been on board with EXP and look for those rock stars. Rock stars are anyone that's closed, let's say 1 transaction or more, right? Let's call it $200,000 or $100,000. It doesn't matter. But someone who's been on board 120 days or less, and they've already had closings. That group of agents, those are your upcoming rock stars. That when you identify those rock stars, it's a great time to reach out and say, hey, I see you've joined EXP. Welcome. We're so excited you're here. What can we help you with, right? And by the way, those rock stars, it's the best time for them to start attracting to their own organization, right? So when they join EXP and they start doing production, they're excited. And everyone else in their market knows that they switched brokerages, right? You think about when an agent in your market switches brokerages, everyone knows, right? Like, oh, Bob went to ABC Realty. Well, Bob is already selling, and that's the best time for your agents to grow their attraction business because they are proof of concept, right? They are proof that EXP works. So that's a great time to reach out to them and say, is attraction something that you're looking at adding into your business plan? Let me tell you what to do because now's the best time for you to do it. So we're going to be looking at days on board. We're going to be looking at those production metrics, right? We're going to look for our top performers. We're going to celebrate them. We're going to look at agents who might be heavy on the buy side more than the listing side. And we might just ask them to audit FastCap, right? So if I find an agent in my organization and maybe they're really buyer heavy and they're not a team member, right? So they're not a buyer's agent. They're an individual agent. They're buyer heavy. And or we've got someone in the organization who really hasn't done much production. I'm going to call this agent and say, hey, Peggy, did you know that we have this this training, newish training called FastCap? Have you heard about it? And Peggy's going to say yes or no, doesn't matter. And you're going to say, hey, you know what? I actually would love your opinion on FastCap. Would you mind taking it and auditing FastCap for me? And then just give me your feedback. I'd really appreciate that. So I'm not saying, hey, Peggy, you haven't closed anything in 6 months. What are you doing? You're saying, Peggy, would you mind auditing FastCap? I would love your feedback. And I do want their feedback, right? Is it great? Does it stink? You know, and I don't think it stinks, but you know, just kidding, Brian Ellington. But we do want their feedback. So when you ask them to audit a training, it doesn't have to be FastCap. It can be anything, right? It can be a state training. It can be anything. Send me their feedback, right? I'm happy to take their feedback. If you have the agents in your organization take FastCap or any other training and you get feedback, send it to me, right? We'll do something with it. So look at the agents who are buy or sell side heavy. By the way, look at the agents who have graduated from the mentor program, and I'll show you how to do that in a second with your download. Showed you how to download a minute ago. Because after your agents graduate from the mentor program, they're 3 times more likely to leave. We rarely lose anyone who's in the mentor program. They're very sticky. After graduation and they lose that person, right? They're 3 times more likely to leave because they feel like they're on an island. So keep track of the agents in your organization who've completed the mentor program. So they did their 3 transactions because now they feel like they're on their own. So reach out to them, plug them into this meeting, plug them into other things. And then your team leaders and growers, again, so we're going to treat them as business owners. Our team leaders and growers, we're going to speak to them a little bit differently. Okay, I'm going to show you this. So this is just like a fake download from my EXP, right? So, and you can see these are fake because I've got presidents and I've got cartoon characters in here. So I just needed something to show you. So when you download your organization from my EXP, it's going to look like this, right? We're going to have the agent ID and the name and the emails and the phone numbers. We're going to have influencer status. One of the things I'm going to look at is revenue share group size, right? So when I look at this, and you can sort it, I want to look at the agents who have the highest number of agents in their organization. These are my growers, right? These are agents I'm going to talk to differently than the ones who have no one, right? And that's okay that they have no one. That's just not in their business plan right now. But the ones who are growing, I'm going to communicate with them differently because they're business owners, right? They're business leaders. I'm going to send them business books and podcasts and ideas. I'm going to get them together, to do different masterminds. We talked about identifying agents who graduate from the mentor program. This one takes just an extra little, like an extra step, right? But we have the mentor name. We actually give that to you. So if you download this once a month, then you will be able to see like, okay, I have 15 agents in the mentor program, or I have 5 agents in the mentor program. Oh, and next month I have 4 who graduated. And so you're going to reach out to them, get them plugged into the things that you provide, EXP provides, right? So the smaller your organization is, the easier it is to do this. But I would just count month over month how many you have in the mentor program. And then when you see one that graduates, your job is to reach out to them. Does that make sense? Okay. We have their sponsor name. We have all this amazing stuff here, right? So you can tell who's referral or who's commercial. Who's residential, right? So again, I might speak to my referral agents differently or my commercial agents differently than I am my residential agents. They're focused on different things. We talked about identifying those rock stars, right? The agents who've been with us 120 or 180 days or less, and they've already had closings. So we can identify these rock stars and say, hey, you know what? Now's a great time if you're looking at attracting who is this? Javier? Marvin the Martian, right? So Marvin, if you're looking at growing an organization, now would be a great time, right? You just joined EXP and you're already having closings. Is that something you're looking at doing? So Marvin might say yes, he might say no. Either way, this is a great time to reach out and welcome them. Buyer units, seller units, right? Total transactions, their last transaction dates in here. So I can look and say, hey, you guys had a closing in March. That's so great. Congratulations. Or you haven't had a closing in 6 months, right? So would you think about auditing FastCap, right? And I would never tell them they haven't had a closing in 6 months, but right, again, these are the agents where they've never had a closing, right? So never ever had a closing with EXP. We're going to speak to them a little bit differently. Hey, did you know that we have FastCap? If I'd love for you to audit it and give me your feedback on that. So all of this information is in here. We have our team, agents a team leader, yes or no. So we can identify those team leaders. We have all of this information, all of it. So it's right at our fingertips. So if you're not spending 30 minutes a month, definitely do that because that can make a huge difference in your organization.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're almost done. Retention red flags. So I just showed you that spreadsheet, right? So I'm going to look for agents in my organization who've been on board for 90 days and they don't have any business. And so I'm going to reach out to them, send them to FastCap. We know that if an agent closes 4 transactions a year with any brokerage, this is an industry stat, they're 90% more likely to stay. And it's the same with EXP, right? If they close 4 transactions a year, they're much more likely to stay with EXP. So we're trying to get agents to that 4+ transaction mark, right? If their business is declining year over year or quarter over quarter, I showed you how to download your organization, My EXP. There are date filters in there too. So you can filter by date and you can download 2024, 2025, right? You can look quarter over quarter, year over year. And then I'm looking for individual agents, so not on a team, with low production, right? we're most likely to lose those agents because they don't have a group of people. They sometimes feel like they're on an island. They're not closing a lot of transactions, so they're more at risk than the rest of the agents. So we're going to identify those in our organizations. We're going to create engagement opportunities for them. Recognition. So anything you can do to recognize milestones is certainly appreciated. We have some things in the works from, an EXP standpoint on that too. Value communication. And this is something I learned a long time ago. When you get tired of saying something is when they start to hear it. So I've probably said fast cap so many times, like I want to beat my head against a wall. But when I'm tired of saying it, that's when people start to hear it, right? And so as leaders, and it took me a long time to realize this, as leaders, we're like, I am a broken record. How do they not know about fast cap, right? Or whatever, I'm just using that as an example, right? But consistent communication over and over again is what it takes for an agent to say, you know what? That's right, we do have that, right? Grace has told me about that, and now I'm finally hearing it. And then leader identification, right? We've talked about that before. So develop those leaders in our organization. Now, last slide here, bonus. So there was one of the most impactful exercises I've ever done with my agents. I did an exercise, this was years ago, and it was my brokerage, right? So I had all of the data around how much money they made, right? Their GCI there. And essentially what I was looking at was what was their commission percentage, right? So at the end of the year, I had my gold standard, right? And this was several years ago. My gold standard was 3.5% commission. Like if you can get 3.5% commission, like that's gold standard, right? And so I did an exercise where I looked at what their average commission rate was at the end of the year, and I compared it to that gold standard of 3.5%. And I had a meeting and I gave all of the agents a check. It was a fake check, right? But it looked real. And it was for the difference. It was the money that they left on the table. And so some of them, when they got a $75,000, $80,000 check, they were like, what? Right? Because we're like, oh, a concession here, 0.25% there. I just got to get it closed, right? But that was one of the most impactful exercises I've ever done. Now, as an organization leader, you don't have access to what their commission percentage is. But at the end of Q1, which is where we're at now, this is a great exercise to do with your agents and just say, hey, for all of your Q1 closings, bring your total, right, that average, right, commission that you've earned, and then have them decide what their gold standard is and have them do the math, because it can be very eye-opening for them, right? So that's just an idea. My EXP, it shows you your organization per person productivity. So on that overview tab, it's going to show your organization PPP, or per person productivity. So if you know what that stat is, and you can work to improve that stat, that's something that you can then market and advertise, right? Like, hey, our PPP is 9, or it's 12, or it's whatever, right? So that's something you can show in writing how productive your agents are, and you can attract to that. And then you should also know your organization retention rate. So you can see how many agents, what percent of them are offboarding. Remember that you're looking at that for a 6-month period. So don't freak out when you look at the number. That's over a 6-month period. But you should, again, know what that is. And then how do we move the needle? And it's the stuff that we talked about today. Okay, the last thing I gave you is the sponsorship and retention toolkit link. And I'm going to show you one thing at the very bottom. So when you have, I'm going to scroll all the way down. Hold on, let it load. Okay. So when you get down to the very bottom, there's a link in this toolkit and it says get started. And so if you click this link, what it does is you can request a personalized retention plan for you, for your organization. If I scroll all the way down, if you've got an agent in your organization that you think is upset or might be leaving, you can say, hey, I need help retaining an agent, or I need help retaining a team, or I want to create a retention plan for my team or my organization. So this link in the sponsorship and retention toolkit goes right to my team, and we can reach out and we can help you retain that agent that might be at risk, retain that team that might be at risk, or help you create a personalized plan for your organization. Okay, that's what I got. So
Wow.
let me stop sharing. Okay, what was your one thing? And I'm going to make you say something this time. What was your one thing? Give me like, I want 3 of you to say, this is my one thing I'm going to get better at or I'm going to start doing. Raise your hand or just unmute.
Power of the one pager.
Good. Okay. Love
Loved
it.
it. Yep.
And who else's hand did I see? Was it Peggy?
Being afraid of adding more work onto myself when an agent comes on board. I would
Mm.
call them because it may be I'm having to babysit and I have enough babysitting going on already.
Oh, great. All right. I love it. Good. And then I saw someone in the chat.
Joseph had some things in the chat.
Okay. Leadership Academy, getting my agents plugged in. Okay, fantastic. All right, awesome. And by the way, I was not looking at chat. So if there's a chat message I need to see,
Yeah.
let me know. And
Team
then
Leader Academy.
Team Leader Academy. Okay, all right, good.
Pam Dempsey, I'm gonna call on you.
Well, my problem is coming up with one thing. This was literally like the call that I didn't know that I needed. I had so many moments from being afraid of the yes, because I'm totally there right now, moving to a new location myself. So I'm a little afraid of like putting too much on myself. So I was totally right on board when you said that. Just the overall idea of mapping out my rev share group, you know, what's unique about my group, what I have to offer you, and just really tracking my numbers and things like that. I appreciate you taking us in and showing us, you know, systematically how to do that, because that's very helpful as well. Just way more than one thing. So thank you.
That just brought tears to my eyes. I'm actually not exaggerating. It did. So good. I'm so glad.
I love it. Who
All right.
That's good that it wasn't me this time. The tears.
Oh,
Right. Anything that you guys, any questions for me? Can I help you guys with anything in the last like 6 or 7 minutes?
Yes. Susan, can you show us where to find that slideshow that was like interactive?
Yes, I sure can. So let me bring up my slides again. So do you remember where to find the toolkits, all of the toolkits?
No.
Okay, all good. So you're going to go into your My EXP account. Do you know how to
Okay.
log into your My EXP account?
Yes.
Okay, when you log in, you're going to click on Knowledge Base, the left-hand menu. And then you're going to see, when you click on Knowledge Base, you're going to see a link for EXP toolkits. And it's going to take you to all of our toolkits. Okay, so when you're
Awesome.
there, there's a sponsorship and retention toolkit. And you're going to go, I think it's about 3/4 of the way down. So we're actually going to get under the value, right? So these are the 3 preventable reasons that an agent will leave a brokerage. When you get under reason number 3, which is value, you're going to see a link to the EXP Value Explained slides.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay, does that help?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Susan, I have a question. What slide deck do you use or video do you use to show someone what EXP is all about? Because there are so many out there and everyone gets confused.
Yep. So it depends on what they're looking to do, right? I don't, like if you go to the attraction toolkit, there are the attraction slides.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never going to go through all of the slides with anyone, ever, ever, ever. I'm going to ask them what their goals are. And I'm going to identify their avatar, right? Are they looking for attraction? Are they a high producer? Are they a new agent? Are they a team leader, right? And then I will customize based on what they're telling me. Now, personally, I'm not going to use that value explained slide deck that I just showed you for a new agent.
Right.
I might show them that it exists, but that's, for me, that's a little much, right? So on the attraction side, they're looking at high level. They need to know, is this the best decision for me and my business? I'll probably use slides from the attraction toolkit. Once they're on board and they've onboarded and they've kind of settled in and their signs are changed and right, you know, kind of that moment, and they can go, then I'm going to get out that value explained slide deck based on their avatar. And I'm going to say, okay, one thing for you to focus on is this. Ignore everything else. Just do this.
Okay. And is there a video, a 10-minute video that you would send someone EXP explained, which one do you find?
So Amy Weaver and Frank Panuto have just kind of revamped the EXP
Oh,
Explains.
okay.
I think they're on YouTube. I don't have the exact link. I can find it and send it to you, Peggy, but they just revamped them. I know
Beautiful.
I've seen it on social media, so they've done some social media marketing or advertising with it. That's
Okay.
probably what I would use because it's the most up-to-date one.
Yeah, that's one of the questions I get asked the most is there are so many attraction videos out there. Which one is the simplest?
Mhm.
And some people send it to them, some people watch it with them, some people say don't ever send it to them, that type
Yeah.
of thing. So it's all up with a personal preference. What other questions do you guys have? There was a lot of great
I
information.
know, I warned you. I'm like, in the beginning, it's a lot. So, so just choose one.
I just want a couple of questions that came up in the chat. If you have not gone to Workplace and joined our group, please go into Workplace and just ask to join Wake Up Wednesday. The group there will let you in immediately, and everything that Susan is shared with us, all the slides and the video, the recording of this, everything's posted up in there.
And you guys can always reach me on Workplace. My cell phone's on Workplace, so you can send me a text, you can call me, whatever I can do to help you.
You guys are so quiet. I can't believe this.
Well,
Peggy,
there's a
You're
lot.
rocking.
There was a lot.
It's
It's a
It was
lot.
a lot, but I loved it because I'm at that level where I'm starting to attract and I need major guidance. This was a great presentation. Susan, what I think I have to focus on most now to start is my agent avatar or team avatar and what sets me apart. I know as an agent what sets me apart, but what sets me apart as a leader and an organization builder. So that's where I'm going to start. And I appreciate your time today because this was really good. All the points were amazing. And thank you for all the questions, guys. That your questions helped me too. So thank you.
I
Awesome.
think that Dee Dee, that's great. And one of the things that Phil Stringer shared with us, go to your chat GPT and ask the simple question with everything that you know about me, what sets me apart? You'll be amazed at what you get. Annie bringing up Jean's new napkin presentation, and then Peggy Page, you had your hand up real quick.
Sorry about that. Had to unmute. Susan, do you know of any, I know there's a person that does a lot of agent recruitment that is selling a program that you can go in and you can put the agent's numbers, their current number with their old agency with a typical 80-20 look, and then the EXP model to compare what their net would be at the end of the year. Do you know of anything within EXP that would do that?
So we have in the growth team, we'll usually bring in Ryan Kay, who's on our finance team on corporate. And he can do that for an agent. I believe that we are working and I think just finalizing, there is like a numbers analyzer that we will make public. I believe pretty soon. It's not quite done yet and been approved through all of the channels, but we're working on that. So stay tuned for that. But then you can always get them with Ryan Kay through the growth team, and he can sit down and do that one-on-one too.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Great. Well, Susan, I'm sure people are going to want to have you come back. And
Happy to.
yeah, we would absolutely love that. Just if you guys need anything, they are so accessible. As I said, there's no reason why you would struggle and do this alone. If you don't plug in and ask the questions, then shame on you. I'm here to help you. Ashley's here to help you. Susan's here to help you. We've had Holly, Leo. I mean, it is unbelievable the resources that we have. I will share the slides. I'm going to be doing next week. I have to check who our guest is, but I think we're going to be doing a recap of what we've done so far on Q1. Can't believe the first quarter is over. And again, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thanks for having me. Desiree, go to that retention and sponsorship toolkit, scroll down to the bottom, click on get started and fill out that, that form for help, and we can get a personalized plan for you. Okay, I got to jump to my next.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much.
Bye,
Bye.
guys. Take a
Bye,
deep
Peggy. Thank you. That was really good.
on here. And
Really good.
you're
And for
welcome.
those who have like a fear of going to the next level, this this helps get rid of those fears. You know, because she went through that one pager, like, what do I fear about this and why? And
It-
then go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. I think we can do that for so many other things besides
Right.
this.
It's chunking down, and that's what I do with a lot of my coaching. Pam knows I'll keep going deeper and deeper and deeper on
Yes.
it. But I think that there's so many great topics that we can recap here and kind of take apart over the next few weeks. Everybody just ask questions in our group. Again, please invite people to Wake Up Wednesday and have people join into our group. It's so much resource. I've been thinking about this. I was talking to Susan. I said, we're coming up on 3 years of doing this weekly Zoom
That's
meeting.
insane. That's insane.
Isn't it crazy? And if you think about the talent, the years of talent, the billions of dollars of real estate that have been sold together in this group, and you've got people that keep showing up every single week, or pretty much so, like 70 to 90% on these calls. All the resources are there. This is an incredible group. Please leverage it. I just can't say enough about all of this.
I have to remember that, Peggy, to invite people. You know, I don't want to be like a gatekeeper. Oh, I'm going to keep this group to. Yeah, we have to share, and I forget to invite people. So yes, I have to do that. Thank you for the reminder.
You're
I know a
welcome.
lot of people that can use that really need this group.
I
Thank
mean,
you.
I'm so blessed to have this platform and to have you guys here. And I know that it's getting out there. And we had a lot of new people on this call today. Is there anything that with the group that's left? Any questions that you had? One of the things that I really loved, and being a top team leader with KW for years and other companies recruiting, was when she chunked it down, is why haven't I picked up that phone? What is holding me
Yeah.
back? And
Yes.
sometimes it's not the fear of rejection. It's the fear of, oh my God, what if they join? Am I going to be able to live up to my talk? You know, that's kind
Yeah, Pam also, you agreed with that, right? Because it's sort of like not having that fear of failure, but the fear of success. Like it
of,
comes with a lot of responsibility, a lot of follow-up. Now you're talking a game that you really have to come through, not for yourself, but for people, many other people. That's a huge responsibility. So it's that you know it can happen. You know people are gonna say yes, right, Pam?
Yes,
You're
like we
like,
know they're gonna say yes, and then I think it's
and then now what?
I guess not problematic, but the issue that I find is like I tend to try to go above and beyond to serve other people, and
Mhm.
learning how to adjust like how much of myself to give and who to give it to is what sometimes is overwhelming to me.
And it's
you.
okay to stop
Mhm.
giving or to recommend that they go somewhere else. I mean, I've learned that over the years, and I don't even like using that word stop giving, but maybe suggesting that people go somewhere like, wouldn't you love to audit? We've got this great program, and
That
I
was
thought
a
it was
great
wasn't
point.
that
Oh my
excellent?
God.
Don't go to
Yes.
someone, dude, you're not doing anything. Get your butt over to FastCap. It's kind of like, we've got this amazing program. I love your opinion. Would you mind auditing it and let me know how you feel? You're making them feel important. You're not embarrassing them. And maybe they'll get in there and something will rub off. It's one of the biggest things, and Ashley knows. With my high I personality, I have come in as a Tasmanian devil, and I have just blurted out crap that, oh my God, I'd have my head chopped off. And over the years, I have been working on Janet's laughing up there. I have been working on reframing things and stepping back. And, I'm not going to say I could have been a better leader before, because don't forget, I'm a firm believer in John Maxwell failing forward. Nobody died. That type of thing. So no one died over this. However, I'm willing to look at my behaviors and really look and say, okay, how can I say that a little bit better? Maybe that not everybody wants to hear on a scale of 1 to 10, how blunt do you want me to be, right? So I
Yeah.
love when we hear little tidbits. Janet, I have to call you. You are smiling up there in Martha's Vineyard. Where are you? You're in the vineyard, right?
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm sitting here. I had hand surgery, so if you see me playing with a heating pad,
Aw,
it's
that's
oh no,
okay.
it's
Are
I
you
had
doing okay?
I have Dupuytren's contracture, and I had been putting off this surgery for years, and it was all mental because my mind could not get over the fact that someone was going to cut the palm of my hand with a knife, and I could not get around it.
And you did it. Congratulations.
I'm 3 weeks
Show
in.
us your hand, Janet. Show us your hand.
So
How
here's my,
glorious.
that's
Look
my
at that.
hand. 3 weeks.
Wow. Congratulations. That surgery's come a long way. My husband had it 15 years ago, and I think in 3 weeks he was still bandaged 15 years ago.
No,
Look at that.
the day after I got out, um, I had the surgery up at Mass General because I'm in Massachusetts. And then I came and I had my first OT at 7 a.m. the next morning. I had to do something for a client, and I'm in my home office and I'm trying to figure out how to use a right-handed mouse with my left hand, and was going nowhere fast. And I went, screw this. Just started with my right hand and I started typing that day.
Just
Look at that.
I'm so proud of you. Thank
That's
you for
amazing.
sharing that.
So
So
thank you. My
yeah,
OT
Peggy, can I
says
ask a
I'm 3
question?
weeks ahead of schedule.
yeah, who wants to ask a question?
It's on pipes.
Hi.
Hi. So first of all, some of the stuff that she talked about was following up. I've just started in the last 3 weeks ramping up agent attraction. That's the only thing I'm doing. I'm not in production.
Okay.
And so one of the people that I talked to yesterday was with EXP, looking to go somewhere else. So I spent an hour with him. He's a brand new agent. He's been in 2 brokerages in less than a year. He's only been an agent less than a year. Went from Coldwell Banker to a team. Then he moved, and he's like, I need a team. And I was like, I use some swear words, so I'm not the most sandpapered guy. I'm pretty rough. And I was like, you need to get your ass into see, I'm sorry.
Okay.
And you need to get into the fast cap program. I was like, you're an idiot if you're going somewhere else. I said, there's a shiny object everywhere. I was like, right now you just need to get your behind in gear. I was like, there's no effing excuses. And so that's how I started the conversation. And then I started asking him more questions and more questions. And I said, you need to send me your 7 levels up. I said, I wish you were on my team because I'd have weekly calls with you. And I said, well, I was like, F that. Call me next week. Tell me what you've done. I'm hoping he stays with EXP. He's a good kid. He sounds like he's in his 20s. Sounds like he's a go-getter. He's just looking for some guidance, and he doesn't have it from his old team leader. And so following up with your people is our responsibility. One of the things that I've told several people at leadership, we need a class on coaching, just because we're all coaches. If you're sponsoring someone, you've just became someone's coach, whether you've wanted to be it or not. You talked about John Maxwell. Reading John Maxwell books is going to help somewhat, but real estate coaching is a whole different breed. In my opinion, we could get a lot of information from a lot of places, but it would be helpful if we had a class sort of like the team leader academy that's just on coaching, whether it's a week or 2 weeks or even just a Zoom call. I don't know if you remember Curtis Dixon.
Yeah.
I told Curtis Dixon about it when I saw the team leader academy because he left. I was like, oh shit, they fucking listened to me. Sorry, excuse
That's
me
okay.
again.
You're fine.
And I was like, this is awesome. So I went and looked at it. One of my brokers talked me out of it. They said, this is not, you're going to throw $2,500 into this and you're going to get, really, you only need 2 sections of this long program. Why are you going to do that? That's a waste of your time and your money. And I agree, because I'm not building a team, I'm building an organization. So it's a different mindset. It's a different set of skills. So that's the first thing is all of us who are still here watching the Civil Twilight. It's very, very important to follow up because that guy would have been gone to Epic or LPT or a boutique brokerage and been unhappy and maybe got out of the industry. So I hope I did him the favor by speaking truth, and hopefully I'm going to follow up with him tomorrow to see if he signed up for the class. But I sent it to him, and then he never even saw the what's EXP done, what EXP has for me, Canva chart. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, there's a lot of new,
Yeah, it has
Yes, I
like
saw that.
it has the flow charts and everything. I mean, it's so that's there. The next thing on that I want, this is a question for me. On the exptool.com growth section, it says ensured to review the do not call list. So I was at Keller Williams, and our team leader used to say, ignore the do not call list, be polite, and it never got them in trouble. So I'm not saying that's the right way to do it, but what I understand, if we're using this if we're using our phone as a business, they're allowed to call us. I get about 25 to 40 spam calls a day. Am I wrong in what I'm thinking? If we're using our cell phone as a business phone, it's public, and we can call that, we can get incoming calls that way.
I'm not really sure on that. And I've heard different things on do not call lists. I've heard different ways to ask a question if you're providing value, if you're not selling something. And I don't know if it's different in every state, but I would definitely talk to your broker. But let me just, so you're new to the call. I'm sorry, I don't know who you are. What's your first name?
Shad, actually, I've been on the call several times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because you've stayed with Nicole, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so me and Brian Nicole work real tight together.
Oh, very cool. And what's your phone number?
Area code 850-261
850-261
7888.
7888. And are you in Dallas?
I'm not. I'm about 3.5 hours north of Dallas. I'm in Oklahoma, in a place called
okay.
Altus. It's podunk, military family. And then before here, I was in Germany, but I'm a Florida agent.
Okay. Do you have my phone number? I'd love to have a call with you. Let me give it to you.
I'm ready.
860-638-7944. I'm happy to talk to that person what was the person's first name?
Hold on a second. Jimmy, but he goes by Michael. Let me pull it up in my CRM. Hold on a second.
Pipes, do you sing? Do you sing that you're called Pipes? Yes.
No, it's a surname.
Okay.
It goes back. It's actually Pipes is Germanic, and we were musicians back then. So we played
Oh.
wind instruments, and then
Mhm.
but I'm Polish by half, and then the other half, like part of us were Scandinavian, so we're all over the place.
Are you part of our Wake Up Wednesday group?
I just joined it. But I get the text messages every week.
Okay.
Through Nicole, with Jean's Generals as well.
Right. Yeah.
And then so the problem is it's at 8 o'clock. I got to take my daughter to school.
Well, you can always put it on in the car.
You don't know my daughter.
Oh. Got it. Yeah.
So I would, and I could start doing it earlier. But I have a routine, and
Sure. Yeah.
she's 10 years old, so I have to tell her I love her, and then I make sure roll down the window when I drop out down the window, and I was like, her name's Aspen, so I was like, you be awesome, awesomely Aspen, or
Oh,
you be great, and I'm proud of you. So there's a routine that I have that is important to me and her,
absolutely.
and so that at least from leaving here at 7:50 until 8:10 is her time.
I get that.
No offense.
No, my God, that's family first. That's what we're all about.
Pipes, that's great. I have the same routine with my daughter, so that is fantastic. I just happen to be in a different time zone where I can be here. I'm always a little late because it depends what time I get back in from drop off. But we have affirmations with her. I have affirmations and all that good stuff, and it's undivided attention that she deserves. And what better than with daddy? You know, many of us girls love to be with our dads, and to be able to do that, your daughter and you, that's fantastic. It's
Yeah,
gonna come back to you.
And that's why we record these and why we have a YouTube channel now where we're posting them. Because let's face it, not everybody can do this, but we want
That's right.
information out there. Stacy, you had your hand on. I'm hand up.
If I can take it off mute. Pipes, I was going to just tell you, hey, kudos for you for pouring into somebody that wasn't getting what they needed from their sponsors, because I am one of those. And you need people around you, even though they're not in your direct line, to help you through things. You know, I know Peggy, you're kind of a cousin in my line, but you've been there for me. Nolly Williams, he's not in my branch at all, and he has poured into me. So keep pouring into this kid because he needs that extra, you know, support. And we're all one. We're one fire. You know,
One
it
big
does not. That's right.
So
It's just not just, you know, his sponsors.
so Stacy, and I thank you for that. And you heard my phone number. You're more than welcome to call me. But you hear who I am. I'm not the guy who's going to be like, "Oh, rah rah, you're doing a good job, yay." That I'm going to tell you what I feel that you need to hear. And sometimes it is going to be rah rah, but most of the time it's like, "What have you done for yourself lately?" Um,
Right.
and
exactly.
I was like, I'm not going to wake up and make calls. I'm guilty of
Okay.
not wanting to make calls.
And I know we all have to run, and Pipes, I do know you from Jean's General's calls, so I am aware of that, but I just had to say it because there's so many people that don't reach down into their, you know, their group, and there are orphans out there, and I am one of them. So just know that you're doing a great thing, and I appreciate you doing that because
Thank you.
I have a few people doing that for me. Your other question though, about whether we call realtors or not on the do not call list. And I'm sorry, I've been out walking. I've got the trash man is passing me now. So if you make a phone call that is not solicitation, you're not selling them anything, you're not talking about EXP, you're picking up the phone and you're calling them and saying, hey, you know, I'm just kind of, you know, touching base with people that I either know or don't know, and find out how's their business doing in this market. Is there anything I can do to help you? And that's the only conversation
The
you need to have,
solicitation.
especially on that first one.
Yeah. That was what I
Beautiful.
believe. If you're not selling something, once
Yes.
they open the door and they ask a question, you're good to go.
I mean, this is realtor to realtor. You're talking to them within the business of real estate. So if you're talking to them about real estate and not about recruiting them, you're good.
All right. Thank you.
Desiree, does anyone have a number for support? I can't get into the world. I don't know where that is.
I see something, well, I saw a question. I went on to EXP, our workplace, and if you type up support, there is a new, website or link. It's support, and I'll put it in here, support.expcloud.com. And then you can click on live chat and you can chat with someone live. And it says to bookmark that site, and I'll put it in here.
Thank
What did
you.
you
And
say
it
was
looks,
support?
it was
Appreciate
a
it.
workplace. I went on workplace and I put on search support, and it came up from EXP Realty announcements that if you go onto here and click on live chat, and I'm gonna put in the link here.
What is the link to go
Support.
to?
Support.expcloud.com. I'm putting it down here too.
But I just
Support.expcloud.
Thank
try again because
you.
I just clicked and it went right in.
Do you see it? Do you see it in the chat?
Yep. Yep. Thank you
Wonderful.
so much.
And then you click on live chat. in the lower right-hand corner, and you should be getting, and it's there Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. PT, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. ET.
Thank you so
Wonderful.
much.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Well, guys,
Thank you.
this is great. I love that there's a meeting after, and I love that I cleared my schedule that we can stay on. I'm happy to do this any week. I am actually headed off down to San Diego today to a mastermind. They've got, here's a really cool thing. They've got a keynote speaker, and then they're having a barbecue afterwards. So that's another idea for attraction. And what I love, and when we're talking, is we're not talking EXP. You're not calling and saying, hey, how come you're not with EXP? That doesn't work. Pick up and ask them. You saw something on Facebook or TikTok or on their Instagram. Hey, look I saw all the reviews or this or that, or how'd you do this? Be interested in them. That's the key. We all forget it's not about me. The key is to have it be about them. So, Dee Dee, we're going to
Good
talk.
point.
How's
Yes.
Get a date yet? Are you able to?
No, not yet. We have a meeting coming up this Friday, and I'm gonna push it because I'm like, listen, guys, we have to make plans. Other parents too. So, well, I'm working on it. I'm gonna push. I'm gonna push because I need to know as well, just for
Okay.
everything in general.
We
Okay.
got a
Good
couple
luck and
Yeah,
drive safe. Are you driving?
I'm driving down to San Diego. Yeah, I'm good.
Yes.
So it's about an hour, and I'm going to leave shortly because it's about an hour and a half. But I want to fill this retreat. I know there are people out there that really need to come. Call me. It's amazing. We've got great, great people flying in from all over the place to do this. So have a great week, you guys. I will see you next week. Thank you again for all your love and support.
You
And
too, Peggy.
I'll talk to
Thank
you
you.
later. Take care.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Hey, check out the montage that they just put up on the lake retreat. It's beautiful. There's somebody posted, I think it was Stacy, a montage of the whole experience at the. Yeah,
Was that the
I
one
think
with me dancing in the beginning?
yes,
In my
you were like,
pajamas?
yes,
I couldn't believe it. I was like, where did you guys find that? But
that was Jean behind you, but it's somebody else. It's
no,
some.
that's Garrett. Yeah, he was there.
It is.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So, all right.
It's hilarious.
Gotta
Bye,
go.
guys.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.